Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Matthew with the My Favorite WWF Hasbro Tournament. This is round 1 and series 11. So this is obviously the final series that Hasbro did make for the action figure line that ended in 1994. Now, I do have another video after this, so I still have my custom Hasbro figures to go through. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's the last of the first round, but it is at least part of the last of the original figures that we're going to be looking at. So there are a number of figures here that I'm looking at that I really want to see move forward to additional rounds, because I really want to spend a lot of time talking about them. But Series 11 really has a lot of deep figures, a lot of amazing ones, and we're going to lose some good ones. But let's dive in. So, first matchup that I have is going to pit Atom Bomb against the 1-2-3 Kid. So, we'll start with 1-2-3 Kid. This is actually one of those figures that I have been dying for like ever. You really have to save up all your pennies to get this guy. You want an original 1-2-3 Kid, you're looking at about $600 to $1,200 as a loose figure. You want him on card, anywhere between $1,200 to maybe even high as $2,500, who knows. Absolutely ridiculous amount of money. I just can't do it. I don't want to do it anymore. Not for that type of money, not for that crap. No, I mean, I love Hasbro's, but come on. They're plastic figures. I got this. I'm happy with it. Great figure. It really is. Obviously, it doesn't have the pose that I like. It's got the Rick Rude and Ric Flair. Rick Rude and Ric Flair pose. But you take that away and just look at the overall color scheme of the figure. This is absolutely amazing. Just a perfect replica of 1-2-3 Kid. What was his real name? Scott Waltman? Was that it? Just a beauty. And I like this figure just because of the color scheme. I mean, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of that. Because he was a much smaller, thinner guy, yeah, this body type fits perfectly for this particular character. And even the LGNs. I always said 1-2-3 Kid is one of those figures that I was dying to have as an LJN custom, because he was a very coveted figure for me, very coveted character. And when I finally got that LJN custom from the Raider Nation, I couldn't have been more thrilled. Now, the Atom Bomb is arguably one of the 10 greatest Hasbro figures ever made. Design-wise, colors, absolute perfection. Now, he's got a great pose, molded right after a few other figures. I mentioned it several times. Scott Steiner, Crush, who else we're looking at in the past. But there's a number of guys out there that have this type of body type. Just an absolute beauty. Love the figure, no doubt. I really didn't want to sit here and hash on these for 15-20 minutes, but I didn't want it to be so simple where one is going to be out immediately, because I really enjoy both of these figures a lot. But the 1-2-3 Kid is gone for the competition, and Atom Bomb does move forward to round 2. I think if I were to have selected the 1-2-3 Kid, I'd be choosing him for value's sake only, because, again, 1-2-3 Kid is arguably the most expensive Hasbro figure you're ever going to find. People talk about, well, what about Moonbelly Kamala that sells for like 25 grand? Yeah, well, that doesn't really count because it's not really part of the original line, not really. I guess it's a rarity, error that the company made or something, but that's not really something I'm ever going to get in my lifetime, so. I mean, I won't spend $1,000 on a carded figure, so, I mean, me purchasing a $5,000 figure, $25,000, it's just not going to happen. Alright, so the next battle. So this first figure, I got the figure, and I got the card, and then I put the figure in the card, so it's kind of taped up. I do actually have another figure coming, so I'll actually have one loose in the future. And didn't do a good job taping it because it is still coming up. But this matchup is going to feature the smoking guns. And it's going to be Billy Gunn versus Bart Gunn. Trying to show the back of this card here. See, I don't like how they do this. They only show you 5 of the 7 figures. But you're looking at that, it's like, okay, well, where's Yokozuna? And who's missing? Oh, where's Crush? You know, it's weird. I wonder, on the 1, 2, 3 Kid card, yeah, see, on 1, 2, 3 Kid card, they do the same thing. No Yokozuna, no Crush. So, anyways. So, Billy Gunn, great looking figure. I love the fact that, you know, these figures come with pants and boots. I just think that looks really awesome, as opposed to trunks and boots or whatnot. Now, just like Jake Roberts and a couple other figures, I have these little arm punching motions. Got the little legs that spread apart. So a very fun figure if you're a kid, if you want to sit there and wrestle the guy. Whereas Bart Gunn is molded more after Razor Ramon. Actually, Razor Ramon would be a perfect example because, you know, he's got the vest just like a Razor Ramon. So, both have hats. He's got the vest, pants, boots. Aesthetically, there is no doubt that I really enjoy the Bart Gunn figure light years better than the Billy Gunn. But there is no doubt that they're both phenomenal figures. And if you were to go out and buy either one of these guys original on card, you're probably looking at over $400 a piece. Loose, you're still looking at $200 to $250 a piece for these guys. So, is the value there? You know, if you're someone like me who wants to complete a collection, maybe. But it's really hard knowing that these guys used to sell for like $3 to $5 back in the day, and having to pay hundreds of dollars for them. But it's crazy. But I think this is a relatively easy choice. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. Bart Gunn is going to defeat Billy Gunn. Not anything crazy in this video. I think it's going to go by pretty smoothly. Next matchup is going to feature Yokozuna against Ludwig Borga. So Yokozuna, as you know, is one of my all-time favorite wrestlers. Not just that, but he's also one of the single greatest action figures ever made. And it's weird because you look at like I think like Jack's Classic Superstars. I think I got was an Elite or something. I have. Yeah, they make him big. They make him a little bit chunky, but I think Hasbro, with a little 4-inch figure, did more justice to Yokozuna, at least, you know, weight-wise, you know, based on his build, than any other action figure could ever dream of. This is an absolute perfect rendition of the man, and absolute beauty. I still think I like the Series 8 Yokozuna a little bit better, just for the simple fact that I like the black and red a little bit better than the white and black. But it's still a perfect figure. And going against Ludwig Borga, where was Ludwig Borga from? Was he like from Finland or something? I don't know, because until I started collecting Hasbro a couple years ago, I didn't even remember the name Ludwig Borga. Like, I had to look him up, and I think at that point, I kind of like remember seeing him in like a Royal Rumble or something. I mean, like I said, I was watching wrestling at the time that these guys all wrestled, so I would have had to have known about them back in the day, but by today's standards, not having heard their names or watched wrestling at all in over 2 decades, going on almost a decade or 2.5 decades. It's really hard to reminisce and think about every single character you come across. This is another absolutely perfect figure. Fighting pose wise, aesthetically, look wise, it's fantastic. Expensive, of course, just like any other Series 11 figure. Individual, you're probably going to spend over $200 on this. On card, anywhere between $2 to $3, maybe even $350. But Ludwig Borga, man, this is a fantastic piece. Love it. Does he defeat Yokozuna? If I covet Yokozuna more than I love Borga, because I still have the Series 8 Yokozuna in play, it's okay for me to push this one out and keep another character that's very beloved in play, because you still have Yokozuna competition. They're the exact same figure. There's no reason eliminating a solid figure to keep essentially the same figure in play. I just won't do it. Yokozuna is going to move on to the next round. Ludwig Borga is out. You know what? Who's to say that Series 8 and Series 11 Yokozuna don't end up in the final two? Why not? It could happen. You know what? At the same time, I've been saying I like the Series 8 better, but my opinion can sway, and at the end of the tournament, if that happens and those are the last two standing, I could easily select the Series 11 figure. Why not? I mean, it's the same look. Everything is identical except for the color, and all they're doing is swapping red with white. And to me, I think of value, and knowing that the Series 11 Yokozuna is more than double, sometimes even triple the value of a Series 8. That might sway my opinion. Who knows? But we won't actually know until we actually get there. So, that's that. Before I move on to the last round, I am going to put Bart Gunn back in his little case here. Alright, so in the last video I mentioned that I had these 6 figures, and then I had the last figure being Crush, and that I thought I might have to put Crush against a random custom in order to have an even matchup. But it turns out I did not need to do that, because the very first Crush I ever purchased actually was a custom. And you can tell it's a custom because they just took a Series 7. So, story on this figure is from Andrew Todd Martin on eBay. He now goes by his screen name on eBay is Mabel Toys, which is very often, an issue that I run into often is I kind of jump the gun. And I see something, I get overly excited, and I immediately bid on it, or I immediately throw a high bid at something. And so I saw a Purple Crush, I'm like, oh heck yeah. So I threw a high bid at it. I think it was like $90 or something I bid on the figure. And if this was an original Purple Crush, that thing would have sold for $200, maybe even $300. But I ended up winning. I think I got it for $80 something or whatnot. And you know what? I think I paid more than that for an original Series 7 on his site one time. And I kind of followed it up the next day or 2 days later by buying one from another seller for like $25. So I was kind of irked off about that. It is an absolutely unbelievable custom, though. If you didn't have that right there, you would hardly be able to tell a difference for the most part. It looks so original. I mean, there are obviously noticeable differences once you actually put the two side by side. The design of the shirt obviously is far different with the little black and gray here in the middle. I actually think the custom is actually better than the original. Not by much, but I think it's slightly better. Again, in terms of value, not even a question. A million times out of a million, I would always choose this original version, color scheme, over the custom, but they both still look really great. And trying to see, okay, so it looks like they tried to mash up the black eyeshadow on the right here, but on the left side of his face, they added this gray paint, but then doesn't really have anything on this rig over here. What do you guys think? Me personally, I'm leaning towards the custom. Yeah. I am going to go with the custom on this one. I think that the original Evil Crush is fantastic. There's no doubt. But I don't know. I think some of the additional colors that the customizer put into this figure, they really went all out. And this kind of reminds me of the Series 8 Bret Hart, with some of the designs around the hips and, butt of the pants. So I don't know. I can see this figure and maybe a Series 8 Bret Hart, for example, possibly being the last two standing. Solid figure, and I think highly deserving of a round 2 advancement. So that does conclude the Series 11 review. So now from this point forward, we're just looking at Hasbro customs that I have, and maybe I finish that in one video. It depends. I'm gonna try and keep these videos still down to like 20 minutes. If they extend to like 30 minutes or so, then I'm gonna try and push it to 2 videos. It depends. If I have more than 5 matchups, I'll do 2 videos. If I have 5 matchups or less, yeah, I'll break it down to 1 video. Alright, so that'll be it for now. Thank you for watching, guys, per usual. And I think once this video gets posted, once I complete round 1, let me put it that way. Once I complete round 1, I'm going to not take a hiatus again, not like before. But I do want to do some of the reviews of like the Hasbros and the LJNs, Remcos, and post those videos. So I might be doing like maybe 1 video of round 2 of the Hasbro tournament per week, as opposed to having back-to-back videos nonstop with maybe a video here or there mixed in. So if I start doing like I said, and I'm really pushing out a lot of videos, especially if they're being pushed out on a daily basis, then maybe I can keep this going on a daily basis, new video every day type of deal. For everyone that's subscribed, I got a handful of new subscribers in the last few days. For you new subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in and for your viewership and subscriptions. Welcome. Glad to have you. If you guys have any recommendations, anything that you would like to see or anything you'd like to know about, always reach out to me. I check my messages constantly, so I always try to reply as quickly as I can. Thank you so much, everyone, and I will talk to y'all later. Goodbye for now.